I've been with NCSSM here in Morganton since January 2017. And one of the things that impressed me so much about this community is just the history, the heritage, the resiliency, and how much storytelling is part of this community. There's not a comprehensive way to learn about some of the maybe less frequently told stories. The incredible team at the Industrial Commons put together an initiative a couple years ago known as Hometown Walkabout. And it was intended to be this one-time experience just to provide a snapshot of some of this history and some of the ongoing challenges we face in our region.
So we're sitting right now in the Industrial Commons, and the Industrial Commons is a 501c3, and it's really an ecosystem of community-based businesses. And what we're trying to do is create businesses, but also tie them to equity and economic inclusion as well. We want to practice what we preach and include people as part of the workers in all of the companies that we're creating that represent the diversity of our community. Not only because that's the right thing to do, but also those are incredibly deeply gifted people.
Hometown Walkabout was a brilliant idea that came about from Molly Hemstreet and Sarah Chester. They had a number of people who were coming into town from all over the country to learn about the Industrial Commons.
We were inviting a group into our community that was coming from the outside, a lot of folks from the West Coast, a lot of folks that had never been to the rural South before.
As the people came in from the airport into Burke County, one of the first things they saw was the Confederate flags, that greet you on Interstate 40.
That might make them feel scared, might tell a story about our community that we wanted to have a counter narrative to. And at the time, our office was downtown where we could also look out and see the Confederate monument standing there. And instead of pretending it wasn't there, we said, we just need to take that. We need to take that head on. And at the same time, when we started looking out the window of our office, we realized if we walked a block up the street, we could hear the story of Etta Baker, and we could see the memorial that's to the blues guitarist Etta Baker. And if we walked around the corner, there was the story about the Hmong laundromat. And if we walked a little bit further, there was the story of the Guatemalan community. So we just said, we need to just take people and walk through our community.
We were immediately supportive of that idea. Once we saw it come to fruition, we latched on, and essentially we wanted to make it portable as an experience for NCSSM employees, not just in Morganton in our newly growing workforce, but also with our institution in Durham and having those employees be engaged as well. We are 40 years young as an institution at NCSSM, and obviously just now moving into Western North Carolina with a physical site. So there's a lot we don't know. And we are wanting to be students of this community, but at the same time, we want to be active neighbors and engaged citizens. We spent the better part of a year, actually, behind the scenes, working with the team at the Industrial Commons and TOSS to develop this program that has been delivered over the last few months.
My name is Leslie McKesson, and thank you so much for joining with us this morning to engage this important work with Hometown Walkabout. I'm going to be your facilitator as we go through these discussions, these conversations, these experiences. This is a new frontier. This is a new way of engaging each other as a culture and as a society. And we appreciate you all for coming along beside us and partnering with us as we do this. We learn something new every time we do it as well, and it changes us bit by bit.
Hello, welcome to Hometown Walkabout. I'm Leslie McKesson, and we are here today with Tia Yang, who is Program Coordinator for the Industrial Commons. She is going to share with us today her experience as a Hmong immigrant to Burke County. The Hmong community actually is here in Burke County because they assisted the CIA in a covert action known as the Secret War. So Tia is going to tell us about that. Tia, why don't you tell us who you are and share your story with us?
Thank you so much, Leslie. It's great to be here, and I'm so happy to be able to share the Hmong story. Behind you, we have what we call a story cloth. And these two were actually made in the early 80s in refugee camps in Thailand by Hmong women who were refugees there, stemming from the Vietnam War. And so for the US, they recruited and trained Hmong guerrilla forces to stop these supply lines, to rescue downed American pilots who were bombing these trails day and night. My parents, I just remember they had my sisters on them and I was strapped to one of them and we were in groups and, you know, children were given opium if they were loud because you didn't want to alert military troops. But refugees have this amazing courage and spirit. All the way up until high school, none of my friends knew why the Hmong people were here. And it wasn't until a history teacher that I had in 10th grade mentioned it in our history class when we got to the Vietnam section. And he has said, this part is usually skipped over, but I don't want to skip over it. And I'm going to tell you why the Hmong people are here. So for me, I think one of the biggest thing that the community can do is to recognize our role and to learn our history. What's really been great here in Burke County is that we're also working toward making sure that the greater community knows that we're here, they know our story, and we're creating that space soon with the Burke Historic Foundation to really showcase that space and to invite others from the outside to come into that space as well.
That is so important. I think to have people who've been in our community as long as we have is very important to start to learn more about those cultures and traditions, because there's more to Burke County than just the Revolutionary War and things that go way back into the 1600s, 1500s. We've got modern history that is ripe to be explored. So I'm looking forward to that. That's going to be exciting.
Today we are very fortunate to have with us Mary Charlotte Safford, who is a retired dean from Western Piedmont Community College. She is a well-known history teacher in the area, a native of Mississippi and North Carolina resident for many years now.
Well, we are inside the old Burke County Courthouse, which is in the middle of the historic courthouse square. And this has always been a place associated with power, a place associated with the administration of justice, even though the justice at the time may not have been what we would consider fair justice.
I had some really preconceived notions about Morganton. Morganton being a place that may not be as welcoming for someone that looks like me. What the Hometown Walkabout kind of revealed to me is that Morganton is a lot more diverse, and it's an inclusive place, that there are pockets of people in Morganton who are doing the work of trying to tell the stories of people maybe who are on the margins, right? And so that kind of inclusivity was very powerful. Personally connecting to my own roots and my own family history, and being able to personally connect to the diverse stories and the diverse people groups in Morganton. As a history teacher, I wasn't expecting that. It was so much more than that. It was personal. It was connecting to the people in Morganton and connecting to the stories of Morganton.
Hometown Walkabout was such an opening experience for me. It opened me to the variety, the diversity of cultures and peoples and identities in Morganton. But it also opened me to really important things within myself. Everyone's voice is so important to be included in the great fabric of our communities. I think one of the most important things that happened was that Dr. Leslie McKesson said was to let it be a labor of the heart. And that changed everything for me, because it was not about fulfilling an assignment, but rather looking deep inside.
The struggle comes with trying not to act as though we have all the answers or position ourselves in a heroic stance. We've got institutions that have served for generations that are already here. They have deep roots, they have deep knowledge, and we need to learn from them. You have to be accept risk, you have to be vulnerable, you have to acknowledge your own deficits and be willing to learn and confront them. And that's exactly what Hometown Walkabout has done. It's given us a space to confront that as individuals and as a small, growing collective of voices inside the institution.
It just seemed the perfect opportunity to try to partner with NCSSM to figure out how to deliver this very important material in a different way. I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to work, with NCSSM, particularly at this early level. And that's what's so amazing, that it started at the foundational part. So it can be a part of the ethos of the school. It is part of the very foundation. So I really, really appreciate that.
It was really a journey that we went on together, and it was one where we grew as individuals and as a team, and did so through the lens of evaluating our community, its past struggles, its current struggles, its future opportunity, and to do it through some incredible moments and lessons that drew on some of the rich diversity of our community.